observed while running a closed traverse at a place where local attraction is suspected. Correct the bearings for local attraction. Line 4 bearing, back bearing. PQ, QR, RS, ST, TP. These are the lines. Using these lines, a traverse was formed. The bearings are in reduced bearing system or quadrantal bearing system. We have to convert all these bearings into whole circle bearing system. Line 4 bearing, back bearing. PQ line. N 68 degrees 30 minutes is the whole circle bearing. Back bearing of PQ line is S 68 degrees 45 minutes. East, west, north, south. S 68 degrees 45 minutes. Whole circle bearing system is 180 plus 68 degrees 45 minutes, which is equal to 248 degrees 45 minutes. QR S 57 degrees 15 minutes. 57 degrees 15 minutes. Whole circle bearing system is 180 minus this reading, which is equal to 122 degrees 45 minutes. Back bearing is north 57 degrees 15 minutes. In whole circle bearing, which is 360 minus 57 degrees 15 minutes, which is equal to 302 degrees 45 minutes. RS S 45 degrees 30 minutes. Therefore, whole circle bearing is 180 plus 45 degrees 30 minutes. 225 degrees 30 minutes. Back bearing is N 44 degrees 30 minutes, which is equal to 44 degrees 30 minutes. ST line 4 bearing is S 80 degrees west. Whole circle bearing is 180 plus 80, 260 degrees. Back bearing is N 82 degrees east. Therefore, you can directly write 82 degrees, which lies in the northeast quadrant. TP line N 24 degrees 15 minutes. Therefore, whole circle bearing is 360 minus 24 degrees 15 minutes, which is equal to 335 degrees 45 minutes. Back bearing is S 25 degrees 30 minutes. Whole circle bearing is 180 minus 25 degrees 30 minutes, which is equal to 154 degrees 30 minutes. So we have converted all these bearings into whole circle bearing system. Now calculate the difference between fore bearing and back bearing of all the given lines. Difference between fore bearing and back bearing. Neglect the sign convention when calculating the difference of these two. For PQ line, the difference between fore bearing and back bearing is 180 degrees 15 minutes. QR line gives the difference is 180 degrees. For RS, the difference is 181 degrees. ST line, the difference between FB and BB is 178 degrees. For the last line TP, the difference between fore bearing and back bearing is 181 degrees 15 minutes. So among these values, there is 180 degrees. This is for QR line. So this QR line is free from local attraction. QR is free from local attraction. And also back bearing of PQ and fore bearing of RS are also correct. Now calculate the corrected bearings of all the other lines. Correct bearing or fore bearing, correct fore bearing of, so it is FP, correct fore bearing of RS line is equal to 225 degrees 30 minutes. Actual back bearing of RS line is equal to correct fore bearing of RS plus or minus 180 degrees. Here we should remember that back bearing is equal to fore bearing plus or minus 180 degrees. If the fore bearing is less than 180, you take positive sign here. If it is greater than 180, apply negative sign. 225 degrees 30 minutes, which is greater than 180, so minus 180 degrees. Actual back bearing of RS is equal to 45 degrees 30 minutes. But the observed back bearing of RS is 44 degrees 30 minutes. Observed back bearing of RS line is equal to 44 degrees 30 minutes. Therefore, error occurred at S point, S station is equal to observed back bearing of RS minus actual back bearing of RS. 44 degrees 30 minutes minus 45 degrees 30 minutes. Say error at S. ES is equal to minus 1 degree. Correction at S station is equal to plus 1 degree. Now calculate the corrected forebearing of next line, that is ST, is equal to observed forebearing of ST plus correction at S. In the table, we know the observed forebearing of ST, which is equal to 260 degrees plus correction is 1 degree, which is equal to 261 degrees. Actual back bearing of ST line is equal to this corrected forebearing of ST plus or minus 180 degrees. 261 degrees, which is greater than 180, therefore minus 180 degrees, which is equal to 81 degrees. But observed back bearing of ST in 82 degrees. Calculate the error at T station is equal to observed back bearing of ST minus actual back bearing of ST, which is equal to observed back bearing of ST is 82 degrees minus actual back bearing is 81 degrees, which is equal to plus 1 degree. Correction at T station CT is equal to minus 1 degree. Now calculate corrected forebearing of TP line is equal to this observed forebearing of TP line plus correction at T. Observed forebearing of TP is 335 degrees 45 minutes plus correction is minus 1, so minus 1 degree, which is equal to 334 degrees 45 minutes. Actual back bearing of TP is equal to corrected forebearing of TP plus or minus 180 degrees centigrade. So back bearing is equal to forebearing plus or minus 180 degrees. Corrected forebearing of TP is 334 degrees 45 minutes, which is greater than 180, so minus 180, which is equal to 154 degrees 30 minutes. Observed back bearing of TP is equal to 154 degrees 30 minutes. So here this is 45, sorry, 154 degrees 45 minutes. Error at P station is equal to observed back bearing of TP minus actual back bearing of TP is equal to 154 degrees 30 minutes minus actual is 154 degrees 45 minutes, which is equal to minus 0 degrees 15 minutes. Now correction of P is negative of this value. So minus into minus plus 0 degrees 15 minutes. Now calculate the corrected forebearing of PQ line is equal to observed forebearing of PQ plus correction at P point. Observed forebearing of PQ is 68 degrees 30 minutes plus 0 degrees 15 minutes, which is equal to 68 degrees 45 minutes. Actual back bearing of PQ is equal to corrected forebearing of PQ plus or minus 180 degrees. Corrected forebearing is 68 degrees 45 minutes plus 180 degrees. Why? Because it is less than 180 degrees, which is equal to 248 degrees 45 minutes. Observed back bearing of PQ is equal to 240 degrees 45 minutes. Error at Q point EQ is equal to observed back bearing of PQ minus actual back bearing of PQ, which is equal to 248 degrees 45 minutes minus 248 degrees 45 minutes, which is equal to 0. This means there is no error at Q point.